If you've even touched the game LittleBigPlanet, you know that the cute, playful graphics, they should make your mind feel as though it is an easy, playful game for kids. But in truth, it's a ruthless, physics-based game that can take countless hours and level retries to actually beat. However, saying that, a dedicated community of insane players have spent decades perfecting runs and getting the world records for completing all 8 story levels through insane accurate platform timing and unbelievable glitches found that completely break some levels. One of the major figures of this community is a guy called RbdJellyfish, the frontrunner of the LBP speedrunning scene. And honestly, his story of trying to actually, cling on to the world record status is astonishing. This is the insane history of LittleBigPlanet speedrunning. Our story began back in 2011 on the 7th of the 19th with a runner named RbdJellyfish. However, his run was of really bad quality and the run itself was segmented. He hoped that someone would be able to watch his run and use it to do better. And then, in 2012, 11th of the 24th, a user called Brosteiner would step into the light. This would be the first run published on the LittleBigPlanet speedrunning site. And as much as there will be a massive gap in time from the difference between this first published run and what's now first place on the LittleBigPlanet speedrunning site, this wasn't actually a half bad attempt by Brosteiner. It starts with him completing the tutorial level, something that will actually change very soon. In the first world level 1, he saved some time through ways that would stay true to speedruns today, like jumping on the second layer of a hedge rather than going on the bottom layer first. He also grabbed onto the sponge and swung himself across the map, missing out on the lower section, also saving time and staying true in the current runs today. Though his first death was about to happen with being squished with a boot, setting him back. His next notable event happened in World 2 Level 1, when he died due to him overjumping, once again not a major setback, but a setback that time could be improved on. In World 2 Level 3, he did the level's big skip. This skip is next to the starting flag and you can skip most of the level using it, saving a lot of time. In World 3 Level 2, he purposely killed himself. This was to respawn faster to get to the body he has to drag along the floor to open the door. In World 4 Level 1, there's a section of the map that has to be blown up using bombs carried by the player wearing a jetpack. This realistically can be done in 2 hits, but due to his mess up he had to do it in 3 bombs, costing him some real damaging time. In World 4 Level 3, he would then die again, costing little time compared to the other possibilities, but still a gap in time for other players to beat. In World 6 Level 1, he would skip the last section of the level by very simply jumping over. This would stay current in speedruns today, as it is so basic yet broken. In World 6 Level 2, he would once again die, but this time from being burned. This was one of the biggest setbacks in his time yet. In World 6 Level 3, the level consists of having to travel to different locations via a hot air balloon. This method of killing himself to get back to the balloon faster is still used in current speedruns. Though World 7 Level 3 would get him the most hassle out of all levels. It would begin with being squished by a block above, then soon after very simply jumping too early and thus falling into fire. Blocks are meant to fall, creating a staircase, but by killing yourself with the first block, you actually gain some time, something still used in speedruns today. World 8 Level 3, he would fail a jump, losing a whole bunch of time as you have to wait for the platforms each jump. Further on, he also missed some time when not being able to jump on the platform, and then seconds later got himself squished. Despite all those big issues, he got a respectful 1 hour and 12 minutes. Don't get me wrong, there was a lot of room for improvement, but this record would stand for a long time. There was 2 runners who had been trying to improve the LBP speedruns, our old runner RbdJellyfish and a guy called PPJ. They would share tips and improvements trying to be the next world record holder. Then in 2013, the next documented speedrun would take place from PPJ on September 20th. In 1-2, he actually saved some time compared to Bro by jumping off the ledge rather than pushing the horse to the left. However, he would then lose time by failing the jump onto the ledge and trying over and over. In 1-3, he would get halfway across the map but land on the lower section. This wasted more time when he had to wait for the bird. In 2-1, he would position himself to land in a spot where he could leap over the starting flag, saving some serious time. In 2-3, he would go and simply do the whole level skip. In 3-1, he would get his first death. It would be from him mistiming a jump and landing in spikes. He would save time compared to Bro by getting a high jump with a momentum from the bottom skull, all the way to the top, saving a decent chunk of time. In 3-2, something that would be faster than Bro's run was picking up the dog and running with it, saving a lot of time waiting for the dog. This would stay true in speedruns today. He would also save time compared to Bro's run by grabbing onto the collector and skipping part of the right side. This would also stay true in speedruns today. He would then get another death when he mistimes another jump, landing in even more spikes. In 4-1, he would save time on Bro's run straight after by leaping up the cliff rather than having to wait for the bombs and fireballs coming down. But the biggest skip that would stay in speedruns today was where you grab onto the scorpion and land on the collector, then let it fly all the way up and jump to the right. This would allow you to skip the rest of the level, saving some crazy amount of time, and the fact that this skip was on a time limit would make it so much harder for runners to do. It being in the middle section of all the levels would make it that much harder and that much more necessary, as if this shortcut isn't done, that's going to pretty much be the run finished there and then, as this shortcut is so important. His death in 4-2 may be one of the funniest in this whole video. He died due to misplacement from him jumping and then being squished in between two objects. His next death would be in the same level where he would burn himself to death. He would then get a third death from being killed once again by spikes. He would then get a fourth death, this one the biggest setback so far, as he travelled across the walls that go in a circle. He would fall into fire. This would now mean he would be set back very far. It took him less time to complete this, but he did nearly burn himself in the exact same spot. He would then get a fifth death where he once again would travel down walls and once again get killed by spikes. In 4-3 he would again die to more spikes, and a few times after narrowly miss being killed by even more spikes. He would then get another death, this time by mistiming a jump and burning on fire, setting him back even more. He then would get another death, seconds later, from once again fire on the snakes after he decided to travel across the safer way, but then seconds later would once again be burnt by a snake. And in frustration, he would jump as the snake was turning the corner, losing even more time in the segment of the level. But he would make up for the lost time when he went to the boss fight skip. He used the box bomb to get a high jump, jumping onto the boss, then lining himself up to the platform above. It took some time, but once he got it, well worth the time it took. This skip would stay true in speedruns today, and it is pretty OP as, you can skip all of the boss level. In 5-1, something that would save time would be to jump onto the car at layer 3. This would allow him to be launched even further at the end, saving lots of time. Then in 7-3 you can skip a decent section of the map by jumping off of this snake onto the ledge to the right. This skip was found by IRH9114. It took PPJ a few attempts to get it right, but once he did, it was a simple matter of running to the scoreboard. This is a massive time save as there's so much waiting around for objects in this level. Then in 7-2 he would go and get another death due to simple missed controller input and jump down into the fire. He would go on to get another death once again by mistiming a jump, landing in fire. He would then get a third death seconds later by being squished due to timing, this one setting him back quite a bit further. His next death wouldn't be until 8-3 where he walked straight into fire. He would get another death where he jumped down a hole to be met with lightning. His next attempt though would allow him to get through the hole. He went into the last level of the story with 4 minutes and 31 seconds to beat Prosteiner. His only death would be when he was hit by a lightning ball when going for the final bubble on the collector, though he would finish this run with a 1 hour 10:25, beating Brosteiner's run time, and that's the last time Brosteiner ran a documented speedrun, meaning he would be the first of our 9 players to be eliminated from the competition. But this did mean that a new world record pace had been set, 1 hour, 10 minutes and 25 seconds. Then about a month later, it would be beaten by RbdJellyfish with a 1 hour 9 minute 34 second time. Sadly, Jellyfish deleted speedruns on his YouTube channel every time he got a new world record, as he wanted the best speedruns to come up at the top of his search bar, so a lot of his early runs are now gone forever. It was also hard to say whereabouts some runs with PBJ happened, but it gets easier in a few years when the speedrun site gets more popular. Sometime after that, PBJ would take it back with a 1 hour 6 minute 55 second time, beating Jellyfish's time by a good 3 minutes. Once again, there isn't actually any footage of this, but Jellyfish quickly took it back with a 1 hour 6 minute 57 second time. This was slower than PBJ's time, but with load times removed, this run was now the world record. But just 2 weeks later, PBJ took it back with a 1 hour 5 minute 33 second time, and that takes us into 2014. In early 2014, Jellyfish would take it back with a 1 hour 4 minute 29 second time, but not before PBJ took one more shot against Jellyfish's time. Would he be able to beat it? In 1-3, he got the whole bottom section skipped by being in the right place to grab onto the bird, better than the last run we saw him do. He also saved time by getting on top of the boot and landing on the platform rather than moving the square on the floor, saving a lot of time due to having to wait for the ghosts. He would save time via jumping on the boot and jumping on the ledge rather than going to the left of the platforms, something that would stay true in future speedruns. His first death wouldn't be until 3-3, but due to the nature of this level being like a side scroller, it doesn't actually affect any time. In 4-2, something new would be avoiding the second lot of the platforms, saving a second or so of time. In 4-2 would be his first death that would delay time. Very impressive compared to the last run. He would very simply accidentally blow himself up, but this time left a decent mark on his time. Now, 4-3 is the level that saw him get the most deaths last run we saw. Will he do better this time? Well, he would go and get another death due to spikes again, not setting him back much this time though. The infamous section that took 4 lives to complete was here. Would he be able to do it? Well, he narrowly avoided death on every intersection, from the stationary fire and the moving fire snakes, but he did manage to get through the section in 1 life. PBJ was clearly feeling cocky enough to try and complete this section as fast as he could. However, he would die when jumping too early for the ball and landed in the red gas. When trying to do the final boss skip, he would meet an unfortunate timing as he jumped headfirst into a bomb. However, as much as getting the boss skip took a little bit of time from him, he did do it a lot faster than the last time we saw him attempt it. In 5-3, he managed to save time by jumping over the flag, saving a few seconds, though he was about to get another death to spikes. Again, this one was a big setback, losing a decent chunk of time. In 6-1, we saw another death from him mistiming a jump. This one set him back a small amount. We also saw some new movement from jumping and grabbing the lantern to jumping on the third platform, eliminating having to wait for the platforms to move, saving a decent chunk of time. But then PBJ messed up the jumping on the thin boards, landing in the green gas, leading to another death. In the next section, he misinput a jump, making him get another death due to poisonous sushi. We then saw even more from the final section 1-6 skip, as you can now skip from the first wheel, making this even quicker to perform. His next death would be in 6-3, where the boss fire, whatever this creature is, killed PBJ with its sword. 7-2 would be his next death due to mistiming and dying in fire. 7-3 would be a pretty simple death of him dying due to the platform disappearing. In 8-1, he very simply missed a jump, falling to the bottom. In 8-3, he died in the same spot we saw last time, once again sending him just as far back. His next death would be on the small narrow strip that once again he died last time. He went into the last level with 1 minute and 4 seconds to spare. However, with that not taking account for load times removed, it really could be anyone's game right now, and he got a pretty quick time on that last level, but would it be fast enough to beat Jellyfish? Well, the time to beat from Jellyfish was 1 hour, 4 minutes and 29 seconds, and PBJ got 1 hour, 4 minutes and 31 seconds. He was 2 seconds off the world record. Had he got one less death, he would have done it. But no, Jellyfish was to remain the holder of a world record. Then Jellyfish was on time for another world record, making insanely good time. This may have been his best run yet, but in 4-3, this happened. He mistimed a bomb, leading to the boss being blown up and the skip not being playable, ruining his run and ruining his chances at the world record. but then a new runner was about to enter the field. The fourth player to introduce is still Colossus. It starts with the introduction level. He skips the whole level via a self-kill and swapping between players. He changes to the player controls number. This in turn allows for a new player to enter the game without the addition of any other controllers present. So he maxes out the checkpoint by adding fake players that when despawn uses up the checkpoint, thus making the checkpoint run out of lives. Then a prompt comes up allowing him to return to the pod. This is used in every speedrun from this point on, and I won't be going over it again due to it being used in everything and it being simplistic once you know how to do it. In World 1 Level 1 he does lose a few seconds by just simply being silly and jumping onto the third layer and getting stuck, but nothing big. In 1-2 he then also loses time by missing the jump and had to kill himself to get up instead. He also missed time by messing up the leap across the lower section and had to play through it, in turn missing more time when the bird he was going to get was leaving when he went to grab onto it, costing even more time. In 2-1 he would save time by jumping over the flag, something that would stay true in future speedruns. A minute later he would be met with his first death due to a human error of jumping over the creature and landing on spikes. This wouldn't set him back far at all though. In 2-3 he spent a little too long trying to get into the level cut, but once he actually did get into it, it was smooth sailing. In 3-1 he would save time by getting a high jump with the momentum from the bottom skull all the way to the top, saving a decent chunk of time. But then he would lose a tiny piece of time by failing this jump first try. In 3-2 he would then get another death due to human error when standing too close to the bat, setting him back quite a fair bit. In 4-1 he would get another death by human error again from jumping on spikes. Not as big of a setback, but still time could be saved on the next run. 4-2 would be one of the top 3 worst levels for him, as in the span of one section he would get 2 deaths, as he missed the bubble to destroy the creature and was hit by spikes, sending him back. But then he would fail the jump, falling into the gas, leaving a decent mark on his time in that section. But then in the next section he would go and burn himself to death, losing even more time in 4-2. The next event would be the precise location of landing on the ledge when jumping, something tricky that would set him back the furthest if he failed, but he managed to do it first try. In 4-3 he got stuck in the boss fight from removing platforms, losing time, but nothing too harsh, just a bit of an inconvenience. In 5-3 he would get another death due to Sackboy falling off the platform, where you can see the game did register him on it for a pixel. This wouldn't send him back too far, but it's time wasted. He would then have another issue with the layers as he fell to the bottom of the map, once again using time he didn't have. In 6-1 he would miss the platform, leading to yet another death. This wouldn't be a major time waste, but once again time to be improved on. He would then get another death when failing to jump on a rotating platform correctly, leading to him being dropped in gas. In 6-2 he would fail the wall jump at the start of a game, leading to a death straight off spawning. It would take him 55 seconds to complete this segment of the map due to a lot of failing. This would be a huge slowdown in time and something he wouldn't be able to get back. However, 6-3 was about to be his worst run yet. It begins with that he would get a death by not landing the air balloon properly on the ground, thus making the gas appear, killing him, once again taking a chunk of time. He would then see one of the most deadly times to his run, one that could ruin his whole run. His first death was to the fire in the circle. He then missed a pretty simple jump, landing him in fire. Then, out of frustration, he would walk straight into fire. This led him to a possible level restart from dying, and trust me, this would ruin his run. So he had to play extra safe, but he did manage to get through it in one piece. In 7-2 he would get a death from being squished by moving objects, losing even more time. He would then get a second death when failing the elephant skip jump at the end of a level, leading to him having to wait for the elephant. In 7-3 he would get a death from not jumping on the second jump and having to kill himself. He would then get a second death seconds later when he rushed it too soon, burning himself on the ground. In 8-1 he would get a death from just simply electric. Very simple death. In 8-2 he would come to a similar death of electric from a creature, but he would then blindly rush in to be killed again. He would then get another death when jumping too soon for a platform. This was a simple preventable death that was very mucked up. He would then get another death when jumping on an electric creature. However, he would save a lot of time from a skip found by PPJ and Jellyfish when looking for skips in levels, and that was to use the scientist's hair to give a boost onto the ledge above. As you can see, getting this skip was difficult to say the least, but still was defiant on getting it, and he did. In 8-3, he mistimes the moving platform jump, losing more time that he really didn't have. He would then get multiple deaths in 8-4, losing more time. He would end his run with a 1 hour 8 minutes and 23 seconds, just under 4 minutes behind the world record, but still room for improvement. PBJ would then on the 14th of the 11th 2014 get a new world record with a 1 hour 1 minute and 40 seconds. But this again wasn't archived anywhere properly, so no footage remains of this run. Once again, there wouldn't actually be a video to show for this world record, but Jellyfish would get a new world record on the 1st of the 14th in 2015, starting the new year off with a world record of 55 minutes 15 seconds, our first sub 1 hour time. Still closest would make 3 more efforts to beat the new world record in 2015, his first attempt being on the 2nd of the 16th for the 1 hour 7 minute 47 second time, 36 seconds faster than his personal best. His second attempt was on the 4th of the 6th with a 1 hour 6 minute 50 seconds, this one being 57 seconds faster than before, and his third attempt was on the 6th of the 24th with a 1 hour 4 minutes 8 seconds. He was getting closer and closer to the time, and then PBJ got his own sub 1 hour. In 1-3 there was no denying that time was on his side with the ghosts, and he used a corner jump to save time, having to jump on the right platform, a new strat for this level. Then 4-3, the area that would lead to the most deaths, he flew past with a simple burn from a snake being the most damage he took. The 4-3 boss skip took him a few tries to get on top of the boss, as he had to jump out of the way of bombs, especially on the first attempt. However, once he was on top of the boss, he got through the ceiling on the first attempt. His first death wouldn't be until 5-1, where he mistimed a jump when leaping over the electric. But this didn't really set him back much as the checkpoint was right next to him. Then in 5-2 a massive skip had been found by Jellyfish, where you can skip like 3/4 of the level. You have to jump from the box onto the lampshade above, and from there you can carry on along the roof. Now this roof takes a little bit of time to get across, and the amount of time you save with the skip is insane. In 5-3, a skip had been found for part of the level where you can make the platform tilt to the point where you can get on the ledge and grab the sponge, saving a portion of time. In 6-1, he misinput a jump leading to a second death and losing more time. In 7-2, we would get his third death when failing the jump from the platform to the scoreboard, but he wasn't going to wait around for the elephant and went for the jump again, leading to him failing the jump again and getting his 4th death. In 8-1 is where he would get his 5th death and biggest time-changing death, as he was going along the ice with a dog to be unluckily killed by the electric creature, making him have to do the whole dog sledding again. A new skip in this level had been found at a massive section where you can leap from the first platform. However, this did lead to his 5th death when attempting this. For the amount of time he spent trying to do this skip, it did still save a tiny bit of time, but could definitely be improved on. His 6th death was just simply him not looking properly as he stepped off a platform, not seeing it was a ledge. However, this set him back a fair bit. In 8-3, a new skip had been found by PBJ and Jellyfish, where you get yourself stuck in a small section that Sackboy can squeeze himself into, allowing you to save a decent section of the map. He went into the last level, 8-4, with 4 minutes and 31 seconds to beat the level. His 7th death would come from being killed by the mini-boss, however this death wouldn't actually lose him any time. And he would finish with a time well past 1 hour. With loads taken away, he got a 56 minute 3 seconds. Sadly, this wasn't actually enough time to beat Jellyfish's 55 minute run. And then Jellyfish got a new world record, rubbing salt into PBJ's wounded time with a 54 minute 20 second run. PBJ then got a 55-34 second run, not getting a world record though. And then Jellyfish, for safe measure, got a 53 minute 59 second run, the first sub 54. However, a new runner was about to enter the scene, a guy called Slens. On the 6th of the 17th he got a 1 hour 8 minute and 49 seconds run, and from there kept lowering his time until 2 months later on the 8th of the 9th he drastically reduced his time. However, a new run was about to happen, one that would beat the world record. The question though is who? In 1-3 he missed the full swing across and had to go to the lower section, then losing time when having to wait for the bird to come down. His first death would come at 3-2 when blindly walking into gas. However, you have to wait for the dog to come through anyway, so in fact it didn't actually lose any time. His next death would be in 3-3, but as I've already said in this video, deaths in this don't actually affect the time due to it being a side scroller. 4-3, the level that kills so many of our players, and this run was no exception, with one death from being pushed into the gas. But the first death, the first timed difference death for the 4th world isn't a bad run at all. Something he did manage to do was fly past the boss fight, with landing the corner jump from the bomb first try, and then getting on top of the boss and making the first jump first try. This was an insane boss fight run, and this runner was executing it perfectly. In 6-2 he would fail the catapult, leading to him restarting the level, setting him back a decent chunk of time. He would then get his second death when by accident he grabbed too late, landing him in electric. His third death would be in 6-3, where he would get killed by fireballs, making him lose a good chunk of time. In 7-3, a new exploit was found where you could corner jump to the ledge above rather than going all the way to the right. Then in 8-1 he would die to the electric creature at the end of the level. He would then go and proceed to die to it again, and sadly die to it again. This was his final and last chance as the checkpoint was all used up. Luckily, he managed to pass it. In 8-2, he times it so the last platform would flip him over, making it so he would basically skip over 2 sections of the level. Then he would do something else, saving a lot of time. He would run across the black balls at the bottom, saving a lot of time that you would normally have to be stood on a platform waiting around for. And then in 8-3, a new exploit had been found, where he saved a lot of time with a new skip. You could drag the ball to the checkpoint and jump out of bounds. You then have to do a corner jump to get on top of the snow, and then you can drop down to the level, skipping a good chunk of the level. He went into 8-4 with 4 minutes and 8 seconds spare, and he finished his run with a 53-minute 36-second run. This runner was none other than Jellyfish, carrying on the world record owner title. 2016 is actually the last year we would see PBJ document any form of speedrun, so with that, he is our second player to leave this video. It wouldn't be until 7 months into 2017 that we would see any of our runners submit a time, but on the 7th of the 24th, 2017 still would make a time of 1 hour, 4 minutes and 3 seconds. And he would carry on lowering it within this year. Slens would also carry on lowering his time through this year with a much lower time and still being a true competitor to Jellyfish's time. However, a new user was about to enter the scene, Crosso, on the 9th of the 13th with a 1 hour, 11 minute, 8 seconds, not actually any threat to the world record as of right now. Still's final attempt would be on the 15th of the 9th with a 1 hour, 0 minute, 32 second time, and he hasn't uploaded another run since. But a new user was about to fill his shoes, Liam12221, on the 10th of the 3rd with a 59 minute, 14 second run, who also still didn't actually pose that much of a threat at the time. But then at the end of the year, on the 12th of the 9th, Jellyfish did this run. His first death wouldn't happen until 2-3, where he walked into spikes, getting him pretty far back. A new strat was found in 3-2, where he flinged himself using the skull rather than grabbing each one, saving quite a bit of time. But this really relied on the cycle of the skulls and being there at the right time. He completely aced through 4-3, the level that would kill so many runs though, and wouldn't get a single death. Then in 6-1 he would actually get his second death by mistiming a jump, then seconds later would walk off a platform, clearly not thinking at all, getting a third death. His fourth death would come in 6-3, where he wanted to hold the lever to get the cat across to the demon faster, but he died trying. His fifth death would come in 7-1, where he would simply not jump, losing a decent chunk of time. Due to the cycles being off from his previous death, he would get a sixth death when trying to jump over the fire, burning in the process, losing even more time in this level. 8-1 would show a new exploit found by the Loud Orange, but he wasn't sure how he did it. It wasn't until Jellyfish and a few others discovered that it would be implemented in runs. However, it saved a decent chunk of time. In 8-3 he would get his 7th death, leading to him being squashed after doing the layers exploit, but he luckily hit the checkpoint next to him. Still, it didn't set him back far at all. Entering 8-4 he had 2 minutes and 23 seconds to beat his world record time, and he did it. So the new world record stood at 53 minutes and 22 seconds. It's edging closer and closer to a sub 53 minute time. Liam did give it one more attempt that year though, on the 12th of the 22nd, but only got a 58-51. Still no threat to Jellyfish. As we finish 2017, That's Liam 12221 in third with a 58.51, Slens in second with a 55.48, and Jellyfish in first with a 52.22. Slens really wasn't far off a world record, he just needed a better run with improving his platforming. In 2018, the world record stood still. Crosso lowered his time from a 1 hour 6 minute 27 second time to a 58.35. Liam lowered his time from a 55.7 minute 49 seconds to a 55.13, and Slens lowered his time to a 55 minutes and 30 seconds. But none of them came close to beating Jellyfish's world record, so the world record stood still. In 2019, on the 2nd of the 16th, a new world record was made. The first notable feature was a sub clip in 2-1, where you have a chance to clip through the sub, but this wasn't a 10 out of 10 chance, it was pretty random and he got lucky to do it. This was found way back with PPJ, but the chances of actually getting sub clip are very unlikely. In 4-2 would be his first death, but luckily he hit the checkpoint while hitting the spikes, so barely lost time at all. However, in 5-2 he did spend a lot of time trying to get the subway cut. In fact, this took him several attempts and a good while to do. His second death would be in 6-2, where he would be squished by spikes. His next death would be in 6-3, as he wanted to get the cat across the demon, dying in the process, but this didn't actually lose him any time, as he got the cat across and would have to have waited anyway for the bridge to come down, so it was the smarter idea to die here. In 7-1 he got the snake cut first time, saving him a lot of time. In 8-2 he then got himself electrocuted by misplacement and killing himself with the electric creature, then in the next section died to an electric ball. However, the new tech of jumping off the lever rather than positioning the scientist made doing this cut a lot quicker and reliable, and he went into 8-4 with 2 minutes and 19 seconds to spare, and a new world record with a 53 minute 6 second time had been made by none other than Jellyfish. He was 7 seconds off a sub 53. The time for a sub 53 was lowering with every speedrun he did. Over the rest of the year, Liam would get closer to getting a 53.44, a 53.36, and then a 53.21. But then on the 8th of the 11th, Jellyfish would get a new world record, a 52.41 second, and that wrapped up 2019 with a first sub 53 with that 52 minute and 41 second time. No one was coming close to Jellyfish. But 2020 was about to change Jellyfish's perspective. Crosso did lower his time from a 55.09 to a 53.23, making a slight threat towards Jellyfish's 52.41. But Liam would also lower his time to a 53.12, and then Liam did this. His first death would be in 2-2, where he would land on spikes, setting him back a fair bit. His second death would be in 5-1, where he would jump straight into lightning. However, this wouldn't send back too far. In 5-2, a new discovery for the skip was found, that rather than jumping to the tip, you grab the light, making it more consistent, easier and quicker to perform. One of the only skips he didn't get was 8-1, where you fall behind the ice ramps, having to play through it, but it doesn't affect time enough to make enough of a difference to restart. In 8-2 he jumped into electric, either by a misjump or trying to walk along the black balls. Either way, it took him way longer to do, as he had to wait alongside the moving platform for this section. He went into 8-4 with 1 minute and 35 seconds to complete it, the shortest yet. Though remember, this isn't including load times removed for these. He beat the first mini boss with 53 seconds to spare, and he beat the first stage of the boss with 19 seconds to spare. And once all load times were removed, Liam got a 52.44. There was 3 seconds off of Jellyfish's time of a 52.41, and the closest anyone had got to beating him in 6 years. A new user was about to enter the scene, Tasryse. He started his career with times of 59.08, lowering it to a 56.17 within a month. But 2021 was going to start off with a new world record on the 2nd of the 13th. In 2-1 he managed to get the subclip, allowing him to get a decent amount of time in front. In 2-3 a new shortcut was found for the already skippable level, but this skip was even faster, where you could skip it by doing something called a deload. This now made the level a total of 10 seconds to play. His first death wouldn't be until 4-2, where he would get killed by spikes. His second death would be in the same level where he fell burning himself. His third death would be in 6-1 where he would mistime a cycle jump leading to another death. His next death would be from 2 cycling the cat rather than the 3 cycles from the boss firing the fireballs, and thus would actually end up dying and spending more time trying to complete it if he hadn't have tried to wait rather than going for 2 cycles. In 8-1 we see the new tech used for speedruns where you deload. In 8-1 the new tech of deloading was once again used. You can spawn in player 2 and swap back to player 1. Then when you reach the next checkpoint it will load in player 2, but the pause of the game for a few seconds so it doesn't load in player 2, and it will get rid of a collision behind the checkpoint so you can fall behind and skip the level. This was found by a speedrunner who I haven't mentioned yet called Frit, and was known for a while, but they weren't sure how to do it consistently, but once they knew how, speedruns improved in a lot of time. His fourth death would be in 8-2 when he mistimed a fling and landed himself in electric. He then had to wait on the platform rather than run along for black balls, losing him a lot of time. He went into 8-4 with 3 minutes and 5 seconds to beat the boss. His fifth death would be from the mini boss, losing him time he didn't have. He would then get his sixth death when the creature's arm would malfunction, leading him to dying, but he would finish with a new world record, a 52:11. A good amount of time between Liam's time of a 53:44. It should seem like Jellyfish would be untouchable for a good long while, but not even a day later, Liam got a new personal best. In 2-1, unlike Jellyfish, he didn't give a jump across, making him lose time when killing himself. Something in 2-2 that's been known in the game for a while is where you jump on a sponge, allowing you to actually skip a part of a section of a map. In 2-1 he didn't actually get subclip, losing him time. His first death would be in 2-2 where he thought he was okay to just go AFK for a second, but got nudged off a ball, leading to a big time death, and was one of the funniest ways to go. He got the 2-3 deload, and his second death would be in 6-1 where he just didn't get enough of a jump. He also got 8-1 deload, saving a lot of time compared to his last run. In 8-2 he missed the cycle to walk along the black balls, and that lost him a decent chunk of time. He went into 8-4 with 1 minute and 53 seconds to beat the world record, 18 seconds more than the last time he was in this situation. His third death would be from the mini boss, losing him time he didn't have. He would kill the mini boss with 1 minute and 1 second to go. He would kill the first boss with 17 seconds to spare. Once he had loaded his time, he got a 52:04, beating Jellyfish's 52:11 by 7 seconds. After a reign of 6 years, Jellyfish had finally been beaten. Liam had finally done it. He got the world record after 4 years of grinding the game from a 59:14 to a 52:04. But Tasryse wanted this world record and was determined to get it. He lowered his score with each run, getting a 55:54, 55:12, 54:20 and a 53:54. In between these runs, Jellyfish actually made an announcement in the LPP speedrunning Discord server that he had created years back.
I've been thinking a lot lately about my place in this community, and I decided that it's time to shift responsibility to other people. I've been at the head of the community for a long time, but I realized it's just not really in me anymore to get excited about new developments, or practice for live runs, or get new people involved in running the game. I've kind of felt my interest slipping for a long time. Running this game has been a huge part of my life for almost a decade now, and I can't believe how much I got out of speedrunning it. Thank you all for being such a great community in that time.
So after his long time of speedrunning the game, running the speedrunning site and Discord server, he stepped down. On the 3rd of the 21st, the world record once again got lowered by Liam down to a 51:47, but Taz wasn't stopping, lowering his time down to a 52:47. But there was someone else also lowering their own time with a 52:47 as well. Crosso and Taz were neck and neck, both 1 minute behind Liam's world record. And then Crosso lowered his time to a 52:21, but a new world record was about to happen. Was Liam about to get a hat-trick and replace Jellyfish as the leader? In 1-1 he failed this jump, costing him a chunk of time he didn't have. He got the 2-3 deload skip. It wasn't until 7-3 that he would get his first death when he jumped too early, landing him in fire. He got the 8-1 deload skip, but his time was off so he couldn't run along the black balls. The next skip was a deload skip found months before this world record by Liam. It doesn't really save any time, but it's easier to perform and use the same route as the standard way of doing the bunker skip. He went into 8-4 with 3 minutes and 1 second spare compared to the last world record Liam set. And he finished the run with an outstanding 51:29, beating the world record by 18 seconds. And this new world record went to Crosso, the 5th holder of a world record of LittleBigPlanet. On the 6th of the 1st, 4 months after Liam had actually beaten the world record off of Jellyfish, Crosso was the new world record holder. But Taz wasn't done as well. He saw the world record wasn't reached to him and that 2 people had now beaten Jellyfish, so he lowered his time on the 4th of the 6th to a 52:15, still 46 seconds behind. But then he did this run. The first note would be failing the retry jump in 1-1, costing him a little bit of time. In 1-3 he failed the lower section skip, but this didn't cost him an insane amount of time. In 2-2 would be his first death, and this would set him back quite a bit as he didn't hit the checkpoint. His second death would be in 4-1 where he just simply didn't jump high enough, costing him time. His third death would be in 4-3 where he would fail to get a jump, unable to get the ball he landed in gas, leading to a huge setback in time. With him failing a jump on the creature in 6-1, this would be one of the biggest setbacks in the video with his 4th death. Seconds later he would get his 5th death when not being able to jump on the platform, and his 6th death would be from landing on the planks, leading to another death. Then he would get another death from not being able to jump over the creature, leading to death 7. Burned in 7-3, this didn't send back too far though. He got the 8-1 deload skip, he did manage to get the ball skip in 8-2, and then he got the deload as well. He went into 8-4 with 2 minutes and 43 seconds spare, and he killed the first boss with 2 minutes and 7 seconds spare, and killed the first part of the final boss with 1 minute 14 seconds spare. But he finished his time with a 51:35, 6 seconds behind the world record of a 51:29. Now even though he had so much time spare in the boss fight, the community takes the loadless times as the world record, as the factor of a PlayStation model, make, and a lot of other factors can take place, so he didn't get the world record today. But 13 days later, on the 20th of the 6th, he did this run. In 1-1 he failed the retry skip jump losing time. He would get a death in 3-3, but it wouldn't affect his time. In 5-1 he got one of the funniest deaths when he got squished by the construction woman, leading to him restarting the level as he wouldn't have his car, losing a lot of time. He got his second death when he jumped onto an electric ball, but this didn't affect his time too badly. He got another death in 6-3, but once again this didn't waste time as he had to wait for the bombs anyway. In 7-3 he got another death due to the jumping fireballs. Just like the last time in 8-2, he managed to run along the black balls. He went into 8-4 with 3 minutes and 16 seconds spare. He killed the mini boss with 2 minutes and 29 seconds spare, and he killed the first part of the boss with 1 minute and 38 seconds spare. And he finished his time with a 51:10, getting a new world record, and that's where it would stand at the end of 2021. So 2022 begins. Taz's world record would stand there for 8 months, until on the 2nd of the 8th, he lowered his time down to a 50:32, then on the 4th of the 3rd down to a 50:22. Then on the 12th of the 6th, he got it down to a 50:14. He was now way ahead of the competition, with closest being Crosso with a 51:29, a full 1 minute and 15 seconds behind. It looked like no one would be able to stop him. But then 2 days later, on the 14th of the 6th, a new user appeared, Nightcarrier, our 9th and final player, and Nightcarrier did this run. In 1-1 he failed the skip retry jump, in 1-3 he failed the boot jump onto the platform, losing time getting the block to jump up. In 2-3 he made the deload even quicker by staying to the left. In 4-2 a new discovery had been found where you could corner jump rather than waiting for the cart to move to the spot. This was found by the runner RbdJellyfish, but it's tricky to pull off as if you fail the jump twice, then it's pretty much the same amount of time. 6-1 was his first death, pretty impressive as this was quite far into the game. He mistimed the cycle, missing the jump on the platform, leading to losing time. His second death would be in 8-2 where he would get electrocuted by one of the creatures. He would also run along the black balls, saving loads of time. His third death would be when falling down the last segment of 8-3, losing even more time. He finished his run with a 54:58, but once load times were removed, he got a 49.33, beating Tasryse's run out of a 50.14, and we now had a new world record holder, Nightcarrier. There would be a few attempts made by the others to get a sub 50, like Crosso on the 7th of the 26th when he got a 50.39, and Liam on the 10th of the 3rd when he got a 51 minute 0 second time. However, this would be the last run we saw him complete. But on the same day as Liam, Taz wasn't giving up on his world record, so he made another attempt on the 10th of the 3rd. In 1-1 he made the gap jump. In 2-1 he got a huge leap from sub clip, allowing him to skip a decent section of the level. In 3-1 he lost a little bit of time when he hit his head, making him go to the bottom of the skulls. His first F wouldn't be until 5-3, where he missed time to jump, leading to burning himself on a ball, setting him back pretty far. His second F wouldn't be until 8-1, where he would die to an electric ball. In 8-2 he lost time from moving along the platform due to not being in the right place at the right time. In 8-4 on the boss fight he missed time to jump, hitting the bubble, and had to wait for the next cycle of minions. This lost him 9 seconds. He finished his very respectable run in 50 minutes and 10 seconds, a personal best but still 37 seconds behind the world record pace. Jellyfish would actually make a return on the 10th of the 6th to try and reclaim his world record, but got a high time of 51.32, not actually being above Nightcarrier, Taz, Crosso or Liam. He then did get a 50.46, boosting him enough to be in front of Liam, but still remained behind a world record pace. Taz then gave it another go on the 10th of the 13th. In 2-1 he failed the lower section skip, meaning he had to play through it, losing time. His second death came in 6-3, where he simply didn't jump and landed in fire. In 8-2 he misjumped and got stuck in the lower floor, meaning he had to wait for the gap cycle to come back round, losing him time. However, once inside, he actually soon died to one of the electric balls, all of this stacking up a lot of time. To make matters worse, he wasn't able to run along the black balls, meaning he had to move along with a platform. He finished his run with a 49.54, still 21 seconds behind the world record. He lowered his personal best by 16 seconds. If he could shave off some more time, he might have a chance. And he wasn't done trying, and gave it another shot on the 11th of the 16th. In 1-1 he failed the retry skip. In 1-2 he made the time up by the L jump off a horse onto the hanging sponges, skipping over the lower right section. In 4-2 he got his first F where he jumped too early. This would actually be his earliest F in the game from the past 3 runs that he's done. In 8-2 he spent a tiny bit of time on the platform, but did go down to the black balls to move faster. In 8-3 he got his second death, however this didn't affect his time too badly as the checkpoint was right next to him. In 8-4 boss fight he missed 2 jumps to kill the boss, so had to wait for the 4 ground punches and minion spores to try and re-get the bubble in the hand. Thankfully for him, he did hit it in time. He finished the level in 49.31, getting a new world record on the 7th of the 6th, a new world record after 4 months. And then, a week later, he got another world record on the 11th of the 23rd with a 49.10, and it would go quiet for a little while, until this happened on the 3rd of the 15th. He failed the 1-1 skip retry jump. His first death came in 4-1 where he missed time to jump, landing him in spikes. Something he did in 5-3 was corner jump off the platform rather than swinging the platform to the right to get a high enough jump. In 8-2 he managed to run along the black balls, and he finished his run with a very impressive 48.51, and this was Nightcarrier's run, the first sub 49. Apart from a few failed corner jumps and 1 death, there wasn't really anything to be improved on, yet players still tried. Jellyfish a day later on the 3rd of the 16th got a 50.09. This was unfortunately now quite far behind where the world record stood though. Taz would make another attempt to restore his world record on the 6th of the 22nd with a 49.02, only 11 seconds away but still a big difference. He then made another attempt on the 7th of the 6th. In 1-1 he failed the retry skip jump, and then he failed the jump in 1-2, meaning he had to play through the lower section. In 2-3 when doing the shortcut he landed on the monkey, squishing him, meaning he had to do the shortcut again. He got his first F in 5-1 simply from not jumping, but this didn't actually send back too far. In 8-2 he got into the cog first try and ran along the black balls. Sadly his second death would be from not jumping, setting him back and having to run through it again without the black balls. He finished his run with a 48.43, 8 seconds ahead of Knight, meaning Taz was now the new world record holder. But then just a day later on the 7th of the 7th, this happened. Nightcarrier made a new run. In 1-1 he failed for skip retry jump. In 4-2 he missed the launch pad jump due to the sticker being in the way. In 8-2 he managed to run along the black balls. In 8-4 he got his first death on the mini boss, which meant he had to respawn and do the mini boss cycle over again. But he finished the level getting a 48-33. A day after Tasryse world record, Nightcarrier had come down and got it, and just, stolen it from him. Then, 5 days later on the 7th of the 12th, he lowered it further to a 47-34. A new deload used on 1-2, where you deload the windmills platform and the game bugs out, sending you pretty much to the end of the level. And this deload is one of the most inconsistent skips in the game, and that's why there's been barely any world record since, because this deload is so inconsistent and so hard to actually do. So players keep playing up until that point and then having to restart their runs. And even when they do get this deload in 1-2, they then have to play everything else perfectly to be able to get to a lower time. And that's just not humanly possible to do that day in and day out. Yet Taz and Knight are both constantly trying to improve their runs and get a new world record. Then on the 30th of January in 2024 he got a 47-14. The barrier to 46 is so close. This speed was mainly from his run on World 8 being faster, with a total of 28 seconds shaved off compared to his previous world record. And Taz did get a new personal best 2 days later on the 1st of February. He got a 48-03. But for now, that's where the world record stands. Now, there are some runners that I haven't actually said about in this video, so some honourable mentions include Kha'Zix, who's held 2 runs, lowering his time from 1 hour 18 minutes and 27 seconds to a 55-23, or Hyperfield, who lowered his time from a 1 hour 18 minute 44 seconds to a 51-30. Wegokade, who held 11 runs and lowered his time from a 1 hour 11 minutes and 33 seconds to a 53-39, and Frit, who has held 8 runs and has run his time down from a 53-13 to a 49-58, being the 4th best speedrunner. However, these players never held a world record, so I decided to cut them from the video due to the length of time. The leaderboard currently stands with Nightcarrier in 1st, Tasryse in 2nd, RbdJellyfish in 3rd, Frit in 4th, Crosso in 5th, Liam in 6th, Hyperfield in 7th, Wegokade in 8th, Kha'Zix in 9th, Slens in 10th, and PPJ in 11th. And that's where the leaderboard stands today. And this video took countless hours, like probably 50 hours. So, a massive thank you to the people who are on the screen right now. They really have helped me get the video in shape in order to work out timelines and everything. And if you enjoyed this video, I have other LittleBigPlanet content on this channel, and I hope to see you all there.